broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, everybody. You are watching and listening to AfterBuzz TV's Scream After Show. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you want to talk to us, I'm assuming we're using the hashtag ABTVScream. Do whatever it says on your screen, so we don't know. And you can follow all of us on social media. I'm Jason Ikeler. You can follow me at Jason Ikeler. This lovely lady to my right.
Hey, I'm Kelly McInerney, and you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at HollyWeirdo.
Weird.
Yeah.
Over here, guys.
I'm Lauren Salaun, and you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, all social media at Lauren Salaun.
And I'm Jeff Thurm, and you can follow me on everything at Jeff_Thurm.
So, guys, Scream. Initial thoughts. What do we think?
I'm in.
Up in the air.
Up in the air? Okay.
Yeah.
I respect the honesty.
I'm a huge fan of the movie and the whole franchise. So, I think this met my expectations, didn't exceed them, but I thought it was entertaining.
See, I think because Jeff and I'm like a casual fan of the movies, meaning I've seen them, but I'm not like diehard, but I really like the show.
I'm a huge MTV tween fan, so this this is was such an MTV version of the movie that I loved
That's
it.
exactly how I felt, where I'm coming from the more horror
You're old.
Scream fan. Yeah, I'm old. So I'm like, this feels like Scream for teenagers. So I think it's working.
I feel like they added a lot of the Scream stuff to it, but then they added some random storylines, like the whole kind of Jason kid thing,
because they have to make a TV show out of it
too.
Yeah.
So they gotta add some stuff in.
That's why I'm waiting to see.
Yeah. Well, and they call that out, like with Scream the movie, how they're very, self-reflective, making fun of themselves, commenting about the whole horror genre and movies in general. They even do that in the pilot. He's like, well, this is a TV show. You can't do things the same as in movies, so it's going to be different, to kind of poke fun at themselves, but also set the audience up for this isn't going to be like Scream the movie.
Yeah.
Deal with it.
I thought they did a good job, too, of making it non-corny, because going into it, you kind of don't really know, but I was actually scared a little bit.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I don't know. I feel like it was predictable, but in a way like how Scream was, because it kind of followed the pattern of Scream. So that's why I kind of predict.
You're going to be on our Scream Patrol and tell us when we follow the movie and when we get off, okay?
I was missing the popcorn. I was hoping they would at least have her pop some popcorn in the kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
At least old school style.
Right. Her
That
popcorn
still can
was
happen.
the hot tub
We have a whole
situation.
season.
Yeah.
So Bella Thorne obviously was the Drew Barrymore.
Yes.
We think she's going to be the lead. She's on all the promos, and then bang, bitch is dead.
Done.
Did you guys see that coming? Because I was actually kind of shocked.
Yeah, I did.
I was shocked.
Divided.
I haven't been watching a lot of the promos or commercials or anything like that. So I'm like, well, I know this girl's a big actress. She's in a ton of stuff. But I'm like, but they're going to pull the rug out of underneath, and it's going to be the Drew Barrymore moment.
And when they said heads up, I knew it was going to be a head.
Yeah.
Like, she's exposing her neck. It's going to get slit.
Well, no, when the head was tossed.
Right.
Into
yeah,
that. Oh, God, that was
Yeah.
gross.
And then as soon as that happened, I was like, all right, she's safe. I was like, that's when I thought she was going to die.
That's how the boyfriend died in the movie.
Boyfriend first, then the girl.
That's how it always should be.
And I love how much they've incorporated social media and their cell phones, and how they modernized it with texting and everything. It really is a modern day reboot.
They did that a little bit in the fourth one, though, too. So I kind of like how they took that from the fourth one, like how Audrey videotapes.
Yeah. Okay.
Audrey videotapes. So did Kieran Culkin. He videotaped. Oh no, Kieran Culkin's friend in the fourth one videotaped a lot. So it was like a live podcast all the time he had. But
that's cool.
It's kind of similar.
So we start off with this lesbian video. which is Audrey and Rachel. And we don't really know who Rachel is or Audrey at this point. We do know that Nina uploaded it. So Nina the dead girl is a huge bitch. So nobody's that upset that she's dead.
Yeah, I think I said, like, in the first 30 seconds, I'm like, oh, I hate this girl.
When is she gonna die? So then the next day at school, nobody's that shocked or that upset that she's dead, which I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah. Why do we have to do mandatory grief counseling? I'm not grieving.
Nobody's sad.
Yeah.
And they're just raging at her wake. I mean, I know in Irish wake you are supposed to celebrate the person's life, but they weren't celebrating her life. Like,
Yeah, nobody cared.
They're high school kids.
Yeah.
There was a
Dad's out of
picture.
town.
There was a picture.
That's true. Poor girl. So we find out at school there's Emma and Will, who are going to be two of our leads in the show. Emma is basically the girl.
Nev Campbell.
Yeah.
The good girl who's, has a parent who was hurt or murdered in some way, and she's innocent and
Kind of crazy. So then Will, we find out, we're just going to spill all the details we know now because there's not really a good way to do this. Will was actually hooking up with Nina, and that's how we're going to kind of tie him to the murder.
And his friend has the videos of it or something.
His friend Jake.
His friend Jake.
Yeah.
So this is like the popular group at school.
And I thought they said something about getting a text about having the films.
I think they must have filmed it in a group text.
Yeah.
And so they didn't know who uploaded it. Like they were like, look at these two lesbians, and then Nina uploaded it.
I thought I could totally be making this up. I thought they got a text from somebody being like, I think it was like a threat.
Oh.
So I think they said like you were in that threatening group chat or something where I think someone random texted them saying you better upload that. But I could totally be making that up.
I didn't.
If none of you got that,
Because that could be Tyler, who is Nina's boyfriend. That is MIA. And he was who was texting Nina.
He's dead though.
Tyler's
That was
dead.
the head.
that was the head.
Oh, that was. But
That's
okay,
his head.
I'm thinking it's going to be like Pretty Little Liars. They're going to be posing as Tyler the whole time.
I was thinking that actually. I mean, this is definitely MTV's kind of answer to Pretty Little Liars, in my opinion. I mean, the high school setting, the student-teacher relationship.
That's how I think they're going to continue it. If the show does well, more seasons, like
There's gonna be
the
like
slasher will be somebody different every time, or a lot of people
baton keeps
connected.
passing.
Which would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
So Emma's mom, let's talk about that. Emma's mom, we have this little flashback, and there was this slasher from back in the day named Brandon James, and he was stalking this girl, ended up killing everybody, and then the girl got him killed. The girl that got him killed is Emma's mom, Daisy. And so I wonder how much of we're going to see of like the flashback to that too. It'll be kind of interesting.
See, that's like not a Scream thing. That's kind of like Michael
that's new.
Myers-y,
Okay.
Jason-y. Both
very
kind of.
Friday the 13th with the whole lake or pond, he's
But the
wearing a
obsession,
mask.
I think, is kind of like a Michael Myers Halloween,
yeah.
except it's his sister. In
Right.
But
So they're pulling from a lot of things, but
Yeah.
I definitely saw a lot of the Friday the 13th Jason Voorhees connections.
Yeah.
He's wearing a mask because his face is disfigured and stuff, and coming out of the water, all that.
It'll be kind of fun to see all the different things they throw in there. Flashbacks. But guys, before we continue, we need to take a break.
I'm so excited
to
for this.
thank our sponsor for supporting these shows. These shows are free for you guys, so we have to have sponsors pay for them. So make sure you check out Mazda, because we want to know, does driving matter to you? There's over 4 million miles of road on the U.S. just to find out about, and that's a lot of ground to cover. Lots of highways, freeways, wrong ways, and long ways, and they're all there waiting to be driven on. So do you take a left turn at Albuquerque or just keep going? Do you wake up early Sunday morning for a drive before the traffic does? Or do you take the long, winding road home for a change? If driving matters to you, just get out and drive. Why? Driving matters. Mazda. Check out Mazda. They're lots of fun. Thanks for supporting us.
Thanks, Mazda.
Thanks, Mazda.
Yay.
Mazda.
Okay, back into Scream. So we've got the flashback. So should we just talk about the party then? Because that's kind of all that happened up until this point, right?
I think
Well,
so.
did you get the box yet, or no?
Oh, do you want to talk? Let's talk about the box.
Yeah, I think we
Yeah.
can dive a little bit into Daisy and who Daisy is.
Kind of just cementing that it is the mom.
Yeah, so Daisy gets a box that I'm assuming is from Brandon, but Brandon's obviously dead. And it says, Emma looks just like you at her age. Emma is her daughter.
Super
And it's got a hat or a heart in it, but it's not
Like
a
an
human heart.
yeah, an
it's an animal
animal
heart.
And Daisy, the mom, is a coroner, so she would be able to
Knows.
tell those sorts of things. And she's dating the sheriff, too, which is convenient, right? They're
Yeah,
dating.
yeah.
Yeah, so we got a lot of, inroads
Connection.
with the
And the
law
sheriff
there.
has a son that we'll get to, who's the hot new kid,
Yeah.
Kieran.
When they're talking about, I think it was Noah, when he's telling the story of Brandon James, and he says that Emma's dad was stabbed, did they say that he died? Or because I would think that they would have
They
said
didn't say he
killed.
died.
They said he was stabbed.
Because it made me think he lived, but then it's like...
But then he's out of the picture.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which maybe he could come in as a potential suspect if he's alive.
Yeah, he's alive. He's not dead.
Okay, that's what I concluded as well.
But maybe they must have been like high school lovers and they got together because if, right?
Wait, did they say her dad was stabbed?
Yeah.
I didn't even.
I didn't catch
There's
that.
a lot
He said
to,
he killed a bunch of students 20 years ago, had Elephant Man syndrome, and his dad got stabbed.
Because that's why when Noah brought it up, Emma got super uncomfortable because
Yeah,
her
she's
dad was
dead,
a victim, but she didn't even realize her mom
Okay.
Was the girl.
was the slut. We know what you did.
But
last
she
summer.
really was trying to just, she wasn't trying to get him hurt.
So do we think this person who gave the heart is the same person that killed Bella Thorne's character?
I think so. I think he's trying to make a character. Like
Yeah.
a serial character type dude. I don't know.
I think that will depend on how many season pickups
Yeah.
this show gets.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Well, and also, which a thing that Scream did that was very different is having, two killers involved. So we may not be looking at just one person.
Yeah.
Also.
Which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Because we're not.
I hope
That means
it's
we're
kind
not
of
going to
like
have
that,
answers
though.
by the end of the season.
No chance.
Probably not.
I mean, Will's the same name as Billy.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Oh.
Billy Loomis was Sydney's boyfriend, and Stu was his best friend, and Stu acts like Jake in this, kind of. So I don't know. It'd be kind of cool if it... I would like it to kind of mirror the movie, but if it has more seasons, then just, like the movies. Make a new...
they'll figure out how to
Yeah.
how to make those turns.
Yeah, maybe there's a new cast every season.
Interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which
New
would be kinda
town or
crazy.
whatever. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
There's so much that could happen.
A little tangent for everyone listening and watching. Go watch Scream, all of them.
I know.
Do it.
I need
Yeah.
to do it this week too.
Yeah, you too.
I've seen them. We just need to freshen up. Let's talk about Will and Jake really quick too, because we find out they have these files.
Because
But we don't really know what the files are. We know that some of them are of Nina changing.
yeah.
So that
Like they planted cameras in her room. Like
Yeah.
they somehow
Or it's-
they
or
hacked
that-
into her
yeah.
They
computer.
they hacked into
And
her eyesight.
it looked like he was going to delete them, but I think he.
Just
Well, I
Yeah.
thought he was masturbating.
I think he was jerking off to
Okay.
them. Yeah, he was jerking off to those
Okay.
videos,
Yeah, I think so too.
So do you think?
which is really fucked up because she's dead
I
now.
know. Well, also, wouldn't it be weird to if you know your friend was hooking up with her, is he jacking
Isn't
off
that
to
creepier? Yeah.
his friend and her,
girlfriend.
which is also kind of
Oh
weird.
yeah,
Super
definitely.
Or maybe they both hooked up with her.
Well, he said that she had, she had respect from the lacrosse team, from the football team.
Yeah, she's very respected.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh gosh.
So
That's
maybe.
gonna be our newer. That's gonna be. We're not gonna slut
She
shame.
seems really
She was
respectful.
respectable.
Yeah.
So we don't know. I don't know. That'll be interesting. Right now, I think it's looking like Jake is guilty, which probably means he's not guilty.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
And Noah being our narrator and our storyteller and our serial killer obsessed, what do you guys think about him? I mean,
I think it's the same thing. They kind of want to lead you that he's kind of with the blood at the end.
Yeah.
But he's kind of the Randy, I feel like. But then we see that he's gonna get laid later on.
Right. And he did. I mean, he drank too, right?
Yeah.
He was the first to pass out. So that cancels out one of the original Scream rules: is that if you drink or do drugs, you're on the chopping block potentially. So he's
have
fair
sex.
game.
Yeah.
And have sex.
But I think
Fair game.
I don't know.
I don't think he'll go soon. I mean, at the end, they
Yeah, I
even
don't think so
said-
either because now we have a love interest that we're trying to
Right.
follow.
Yeah.
And
but they said as soon as you are invested in a character,
Oh, that's
expect
true.
them to be gone.
Right,
Yeah.
and at the end when he's on the phone with Riley, because she's all wanting to know all these, all his little tricks and knowledge about horror stories and movies and stuff, he's like, everyone has secrets, everyone's fair game.
also, did
So
we
he was-
realize he was in a parked car while he was doing this, which is kind of creepy? Why is he just sitting in his parked car talking? Does that mean anything?
Maybe he drove home and he's trying to finish up the conversation before he goes
it
to
was
his
probably-
Or
parents.
maybe he's outside somebody's house.
It was probably
Maybe.
a Mazda, and it was really comfortable.
Oh, God.
Oh, bringing it back.
What you did there.
Has Riley's the Asian girl?
Yeah.
Yes.
Has she not realized that the story is about what's happening right now?
I think she does. I think
don't-
she's just.
Because he keeps asking what happens.
She was like, well, how does our town murder end? So I think she's just asking him to predict based off his knowledge.
And these after shows will get a little more organized once we get every character sorted out, but there's so many to follow right now that it's kind of all over the place.
And, it's hard to know who's important.
Yeah, because they're just going to die.
Yeah.
Don't get too attached, guys.
To anybody. Okay, so then we get to the party, and Audrey shows up. Audrey's the girl that's in the lesbian video with Rachel.
Right.
And how are Rachel and Emma connected? Are they connected at all? Are they the ones that were fighting?
No. Audrey and Emma were best friends.
School.
From
but
eighth
we don't
grade.
know how Rachel's connected with anybody at this point.
I don't think she is.
Audrey and Rachel met on a tech meetup website.
So she doesn't know any of the other. Okay.
I don't think so.
But huge props to Audrey, by the way, for showing up to that party.
Yeah.
I know.
It takes balls to do that, you know.
Yeah.
So good for her.
Would you guys show up to a party if everybody there had seen you have sex?
I mean, she didn't have sex.
It was just making out.
I think it was
just a
implied.
make-out video.
It's on TV. So if it wasn't on TV, they would have been doing it.
I think there's two questions there. I think the first question is, if they saw you just having sex in the first place, that's one thing. If they saw you, if this was like the video outing you, you know, if everyone in high school is making fun of you for being lesbian, then they see you make out with a girl, would you go to the party of those people making fun of you?
I mean, if the girl that did it died, maybe, you know, because she's dead.
That's messed up. That's dark. It's real dark.
I don't know. Part of me, I think, would probably want to be like, I'm just going to rub it in their face.
Yeah.
We're going to go and just, like, even if you're, like, crying inside and so embarrassed and so uncomfortable, like, just go and, like, put on a tough
Well, and I think if they've all seen that at that point, what's the point of being like, I'm not a lesbian?
Yeah.
Like, I really like this girl that I met in a chat room and we're making out, but I'm not a lesbian. Like, everybody already knows at that point.
Yeah.
But she was saying to Emma, her best friend, or old best friend, that she wasn't a lesbian. She was still saying that she's not.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think she's clearly lying. I think
Maybe she likes everybody, you know?
That's true.
Hey, high school's a confusing time.
Yeah.
For all people.
She may not know what's going on. But, I mean, she did have Noah to go to the party with.
Yeah,
so,
and she did get invited. So it's...
It wasn't like she crashed.
Yeah, she had that
but
little,
still
like...
ballsy to show up.
by someone whose house it wasn't at.
Right.
It was at Brooke's house. And Emma, Brooke.
Brooke. So Brooke, we find out, was having the thing with the teacher.
Is.
Teacher's trying to end it.
Right.
She doesn't want it to end. Now we have the teacher as a suspect. Which I don't really... do you think he's going to be guilty of anything?
No.
Just,
Besides pedophilia?
Yeah. Maybe he's got some child porn on his... that was too loud, I feel like. No, but maybe.
You don't know.
Like,
I mean, technically...
I could see him being involved in some way. I don't think he will, but I could see him kind of... the suspicion getting thrown onto him.
Well, because I was thinking if he sleeps with students and Nina's a slut... chances are he could have had a thing with him.
That's a good one.
So, I mean, really, it's up to anybody who can do it at this point.
Yeah. That's a good...
Keep that in your mind.
Yeah.
Okay, so Brooke leaves the party as Noah saying, like, the first person to go alone gets in trouble.
Don't say I'll
goes
be
in
right
the garage. And so what was happening when she was in the garage?
I think she saw lights on or something, right? And they're like, oh, is your dad home?
Yeah.
Something with the keys were in the car.
Keys were in the car, doors open, it's doing that annoying ding thing.
Yeah.
And she didn't. Okay, did I miss it, or did she try to turn on any lights, or just go in there in the dark?
She tried.
Okay,
and they didn't turn on.
I didn't see that.
And then as soon as the guy comes, he figures out how to turn the lights on.
Yeah.
And then we find out Will is in there with
Girls don't know how to turn lights on.
In their own houses.
I thought that was a cool throwback to the Scream movie because Tatum, the best friend, gets killed in the garage.
Right.
But also it kind of validates that Will might be the bad guy, because why did he just show up? You know?
In the garage.
I thought it would have been way too convenient and way too much copying Scream.
Yeah.
She had died, so it was a good fake out, because I was like, oh, I want her to die because she's annoying. And then I'm like, no, that's probably...
Would it be scary if every time you said that somebody died?
I know, I'm like...
Oh my god, what am I doing?
I like that they they sent her in the garage for us to expect it because of the movie, but it's showing us you can't expect this to be exactly like the movies, like, and they're throwing us off. And I read something to expect some old characters from the movies to be in the TV series.
Oh, that's
so we're going to
cool.
see some of the not necessarily characters, but actors
come back.
Actors.
Oh,
that
that's
would be
really cool.
fun.
Yeah, that's
And
cool.
for our after show, we're going to kill one of us off by the end of the season. But we're going to let you vote on it.
It'll be one of us by next week.
But I like that scene too because it showed that Will has a bit of a dark side.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
because what was he threatening her about?
Well, she
kind of gave it away that he was having sex with Nina, you know?
Yeah.
Basically.
When they were talking
in front of
out-
Emma.
Oh, okay,
and
okay,
stuff.
okay.
They're like,
Yeah.
oh, well, where were you? I thought your phone was dead, sort of thing. And so he gets caught kind of in that lie, hooking up with Nina, and yeah, and so he like put his foot down there. He's like, I will break you.
Yeah.
Like, not joking.
I will
around.
break you. Yeah, I wrote that down.
Yeah, me
That was
too.
intense.
Me too. So,
Which
yeah,
puts
so,
him, I think as of right now, we would say Will's at the top of our suspect list.
I think so.
Will and Jake together.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
way too obvious.
Yeah,
so
just
there's no
after
chance.
episode 1. So
Yeah.
they're going to be totally innocent.
Yeah.
I don't know, though. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So while this is happening, Kieran and Emma start talking because Emma's upset. She found out Will hooked up with Nina.
Right.
And then they hit it off. And
But
start.
did they hit it off?
Real fast.
Or did he just randomly kiss her out of nowhere?
She kissed him.
Yeah,
Or
she kissed it.
Other way
I think
around.
it's a little bit like she's upset about Will. There's this hot guy that is a little bit smarter than Will.
Yeah, it
and
just
seems
felt
like he's
so-
a lot cooler.
Yeah.
It felt so forced. Like, whoa.
Well,
Sometimes that happens when
Yeah.
you're
yeah,
drunk.
she's.
Sometimes that happens.
I mean, never to me, but
Yeah,
You're
I
in
mean,
a random greenhouse.
yeah, I don't know if you've ever been in that situation, but let me tell you.
she's vulnerable. She hates her friends, or she dislikes her friends at this moment. He says that he needs a new friend. Boom, make
Yeah.
out. Boom, he's my top suspect. New kid in town.
I feel like that's too easy, though.
It's all
Too
too
But what's
easy.
crazy is it's all easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like every single what person you're
They've
like, oh,
died
that's
in a car
obvious. Yeah.
accident.
So then come to find out Kieran's dad is the police officer
Yeah.
who Emma's mom has a thing with. So keep it all in the family.
Right.
Which is important. Family first, you know.
Yeah.
So while this happens, then we find Noah alone in his boxers on the lake because he's the first one to pass out. Do we really think that he had somebody pulling him in the water? Or is that just him freaking out?
He could be just drunk.
Yeah.
But maybe. I don't know. I feel like
It
that's.
looked like that was like wrapped around his foot though, right?
But
Yeah.
also, anytime that you're in the water, like in the middle of a lake somewhere randomly, and you're like, oh, that was a fish, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, but also
We've
the
all been
lake
there.
that Brandon James is killed
Right.
in.
If this was like the Friday the 13th show, I'd be like, yeah, there was something
Yeah,
pulling
for
him.
sure.
But I feel like this is a person that's
Yeah.
not a supernatural like guy that you
Being.
can't kill. So I don't think. I think he was just in his
But
head.
what about snorkeling?
Maybe it was
didn't
like
say
an
bubbles.
I'm just saying there's an
Yeah.
option. So that happens. Kieran's dad's hooking up with the mom. And we find out, then we find out Emma was there during the filming of the makeout tape.
makeout.
We'll call it.
She tells Audrey
Which
that.
is why she's been super nice to Audrey.
Bitch.
I know. Do you think she's do we think she's guilty by association? Because if she didn't post the video and she's there when like nobody wants to be that friend that's like, stop filming that.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like she's guilty because she felt guilty, and that's why she's being
Yeah, I guess that's
buddy
true.
with Audrey. You know, just
I think out of all of them, she has a good heart and
Yeah.
you know wants to do the right thing. And like we saw when she was with Kieran, you know, she doesn't really like her friends very much, so she maybe feels out of place instead
Well,
of
and I
just
guess
going along with things.
if she was friends with Audrey, I'm assuming she probably had at least some like inkling that she was a lesbian.
Yeah.
So to like watch, I guess that does make her a bitch because if she's watching that happen
Yeah.
and then letting it happen,
Yeah.
I just turned my whole opinion around.
We also don't know for a fact that Nina really posted it. I mean, it's easy to blame the dead girl.
Yeah, what did she say?
didn't they say that in the beginning though?
When she was
Tyler
in
and
the car
Tyler.
with Tyler, they talked about how the video had like. I guess they implied it, but
right.
Yeah, I
they didn't
think
necessarily say it because they're like, "Oh, this video has this many views
Yeah.
already" or something.
I think it was implied that they did it.
I feel like this is a show you have to watch like 2 or 3 times to catch everything.
Yeah,
so
that's a
much is
lot.
coming at us.
Yeah.
So then it ends with Emma getting the call from whoever the killer is.
Unknown number.
Unknown number.
Finally, the voice. Like I
voice, I
forgot
know.
about the creepy voice. Yeah.
But we don't know who it is.
No.
And we won't for a while.
I know. So that's everything. So at least by next week, we know who all the characters are, where they lay, and hopefully it'll just be like easier to. I mean, this was easy to follow, but not as easy to talk about.
Right.
But should we
It's
get
high
into-
school, man.
I
There's
know.
lots
There's
of kids.
lots going on, and we have to be
on.
introduced to all of them.
Yeah.
Do we want to get into predictions?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we have to predict the killer, right? I think that's what we have to do every week.
Now, your AfterBuzz TV prediction.
Jeff. I think it's Jeff.
I am the killer. A part of me wants to go Pretty Little Liars route and say that Nina's not even actually dead. But I don't. I'm not going to go there.
They didn't turn her body over.
No. And I don't know. I think part of me wants to say Kieran because he's the new guy, but part of me is kind of feeling weird vibes from Noah being way too into Brandon James. But it all seems so obvious that.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
I slightly feel, I mean, I think anyone's fair game too. I have theories about probably every character, but I think that we could see a like girl situation with the professor or the teacher, I guess, where like girls are getting mad that maybe he's sleeping with other girls and stuff, and so some girl is starting to go.
That's a good idea.
That's cool.
Yeah. I'm just going to go the traditional Scream route and say that it was Will and Jake. Because that's how the first Scream was, and he just seems like he's got a mean streak.
See, and maybe it will be, and then we'll find out it's somebody else afterwards, too.
Yeah, like that's how, like, you know, the movies are.
Which could go. I'm going to still go with the teacher.
Okay.
I think he's the most unexpected suspect.
That's a good one. Yeah. I like
Who
the
knows?
girl, too, though.
Yeah. Brooke and the teacher.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
In cahoots.
We should keep a list of everybody we think it is.
And every time you change it.
Just
Every week.
I know, it just
readjust it.
alternates.
Yeah, I feel like it's like everybody but Emma. But watch it be Emma.
Well, yeah. 'cause
Like in the fourth one.
Yeah.
Man.
Hey.
She's calling herself. That's messed up.
Yeah.
Hey, man, it could be the mom, too, at this point. Could be Daisy.
I mean, sometimes you have kids and you don't want them.
Damn these friends of my daughter.
We want to know what you guys think. Comment who you think did it. I don't know when we're going to find out. Hopefully sooner rather than later. Do we have any news and gossip? No. We'll get more once the show starts going, but they've kept everything on lock.
Yeah, I mean, we thought Bella Thorne was going to be a main
I know.
character. So
now, we don't even know what she could be up to. Maybe a new album. The possibilities are endless. In the meantime, you can find all of us on social media. We'll start with you, Jeff.
hit me up at Jeff_Thurm, Twitter and Instagram.
And you can find me at Lauren Salaun on all social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, blah, blah, blah.
You can find me, Kelly McInerney, at Twitter, Instagram, at Holly Weirdo.
And you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat at Jason Ikeler. And you can find AfterBuzz TV at all those things at AfterBuzz TV. We will see you guys back in here next time.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Kill you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
That's an interesting sign-off. It was like really improvised.
Thank you.
Can one of you... I have a voice thing next week. Does one of you want to...